Hi everyone, and welcome back to ProQuality conference. Several minutes ago, we explored the unique characteristics of tester thinkings in today's technical landscape with excellent Marina Ditkovska. And now, are you ready for VR testing, where we will learn what is required to effectively test virtual reality? I'm Vyacheslav, your host for today's session, and please say hi to our technical moderator Timur, who will be on the ground and be responsible for the whole technical stack throughout the presentation. And I'm very delighted to introduce our today's speaker, Ivan Volykhin. Hi, Ivan, and it's great to see you here in ProQuality again. Ivan, you are muted. Yeah, now it's fine.
Hello, everybody.
Vanya, you have given a few talks in our community. I'm curious, why are you not in virtual reality right now?
I didn't bring my helmet, but I think for future, maybe it'll be a good thing to create some presentation where people can actually experience the VR. Let's do it next time.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. Dear audience, don't forget to send your questions in our YouTube chat as you listen, and we will address all your questions in our Q&A part in the end of the session. And also, we encourage you all to subscribe our YouTube channel. This is very important for us and our growth for future events. So, without any further ado, let's get started. Ivan, over to you.
Once again, hello, everybody. And what we want to talk about is what testers need to know about VR tester. Let me tell you a little bit things about myself. 8 years and a half or something like that, I'm working as an QA, and for those years I was very passionate playing World of Warcraft and StarCraft, different games in VR. Very big fan of Half-Life Alyx, and during my years we have tested in Unreal Engine and different stuff using VR systems. So that's why I really love to show you how and what you need to know about this stuff. What we're going to speak about today. The main reason is for you to understand what is VR and to see that the difference between regular app and VR app have very slight difference. But in addition, you're still going to do the same thing. We're going to speak about the equipment. The main thing is like how to test, what we're doing during the test. And one more thing, I think that everybody is maybe thinking what skills you should acquire to work as a VR tester. So let's get started. From starters, today we are going to speak about virtual reality, but for people who never thought about it, they need to understand that nowadays we have different dimensions in that technology. So, for example, augmented reality is the thing when you see something using your goggles. For example, everybody maybe remember the Pokemon Go. So the Pokemon Go is the actual augmented reality. And what's the difference between? We understand that virtual reality is the world which is not connected to ours. It's a separate world that you can see, touch, and do some stuff, but it's never related to our real life. Mixed reality in that case, if we take the Pokemon Go and we could pet those Pokemons or throw something like to them and they will react, that is becoming mixed reality. So for example, you can play with your friends using mixed reality Django, but in real life there is no Django. Every tester should understand that we have so many different devices. So some of them are divided into the some categories. So if we're speaking about mobile VR, that's the easy part. You just between some sort of the helmet, your mobile phone, and you actually trying to replicate something like in VR. First, VR helmets were all standalone. Why they're called standalone? Because between your device and, for example, computer or PlayStation, there was always a wire. So wire was you really restricted your movement, and that is why we nowadays see wireless helmets. Uh, uh, because our technology is growing, some of those standalones even have equipment to work as a wireless, but initially they all have wires. And also, I really like that Chinese companies like Pimax and Pico 4 created a hybrid helmet. Why we call them hybrid? Because they are now mixed reality. So you can sit in VR and you can easily switch between our reality and for example add something like and work with it, or you can just go to your own universe. Furthermore, if everybody in their life starts to work with VR helmet, and as I mentioned before, we have tons of VR devices, controllers, interactions, and some of them as hard gloves even created the feeling when you touch windy, when you feel heat with your hands, and even you can touch something like water and feel you will have that feeling. Although this equipment is quite expensive, but it's pushing our VR into another state where you can't even rely. Why is this a virtual reality or it's a real world? During that, you need to understand that for testers working with such devices, you need to complete your task and understand is this game or your platform is related to, and how much different stuff you need for that. You need to learn how to work with them, and it's become quite difficult because nowadays we have tons of stuff for VR. One more, which I would like to mention, that every helmet has their own limitations. So, for example, if we speak about FOV, is the range of how you can see in your helmet. They have very different views, and if your game or your app is not considered about that. So if, for example, you're creating something for Pimax, when you can see a very huge range of your vision, and somebody put that into the Oculus Quest 2, and they'll see gaps or even something like stretches from your app. It won't be a very good experience for that. And furthermore, one of the main important thing, because our VR is working station between platforms, it's FPS, frame per second. As you can see, a difference in numbers can relate to your experience. Either it's smooth and clean, either you can see that something is stretchy and working like it should never be like that. For games, it's essential. It's one of the most important things because that relates to the performance. That is why when you are testing, you'll have to learn many things about how to measure your FPS. Also, when you're creating something for virtual reality world, you need to understand your audience. If you're creating game, for example, for golf players, you need to know how they like or they didn't like. If you're creating something for a company who likes to shoot with your friends, for example, cool shooters like Pavlov VR, you need to understand the main reason why they are playing. And understanding your audience is creating for you a new experience in testing. So you understand that, for example, how your rifle should reload, and you start reloading it in a different way because you understand that your audience will do different tricks just to impress themselves in the game and see how cool is that. And wearing VR, we all humans, so we have different relationship to what we see, and during that, when we are looking at something, we have different reactions. So it's same as in the picture. When you one people are like this picture, some people don't like this picture. Some people may experience anger. Someone will be sad, and that is why when you are testing, you need to consider that, because every people who are wearing the helmet can be retaliate in a different manner. So also, if you started to test it not long time ago and you started to wear a VR helmet, you need to consider that you'll have a fatigue. We have different techniques. For example, like when you are playing some games where you need to move, like Pavlov VR or Contractors or something like this. So even Half-Life Alyx, but this game is so perfect that you can just teleport. When you are moving, your spine and your organism, your body doesn't understand why we are moving, but we are really standing. That is why some of the tips and tricks is that you are just pretending that you are moving on your own, but in real life you are just standing, and so you're just moving your legs, and that is why your brain thinks that okay, you are moving. So it helps, but nevertheless, first 4 hours may be very very hard for you to work if you start working like that. As I showed you, helmets are now have ability to be wireless, but still you don't have enough space, for example, for testing. Nobody is giving you a huge area just to test something. Yeah, we have, as you can see on the picture, big platforms, which helps with that. But it's rarely your company is going to afford you that kind of stuff. So usually you need to understand that you are have lack of mobility. And last but not least, helmet is considered good. It's like having a PC computer on your face. But difference is that it's not have so huge air cooling. So helmets are overheating. Also, because you are wearing very strict glasses on your face, usually it becomes sweat. You become sweating because of that, because you're wearing latex, for example, on your face, and it becomes a next problem for you, because you can't work with VR for 8 hours and don't feel like you went into the sauna. Let's dive into the functional testing. So first thing first, because our helmet considers on navigation sensors, and we have such good things like lip motion, your sensors is interacting with your hands, with your surroundings, with everything, and your VR world is related on those sensors. We usually tested how they works is like sensors is need to have a lot of light. And that is why in our room, usually we turn off light and see what's happening with sensors. A very beautiful example of X-Tal helmet. This helmet is created for simulators, and it has such good sensors that it needs so less light to work that none all the helmets have this kind of ability. But usually we don't create apps for this kind of expensive equipment. We need to consider something like less, like Oculus Quest 2 or Pico 2, 3, something like that. And if we are speaking about sensors, we understand that sensors are working. Next thing we need to consider is controllers. Controllers should have a different ways to, because we have such much technical equipment of the controller, starting from like every helmet have their own every headset have their own controllers, and you need to consider that how many buttons they have. You need to all those to check how many reactions it have, how it should react in your game. Even one interesting thing is that how even your app reacting to this controller. So for example, in shooters, when you are carrying a gun, if you stretch this gun, you need to see that it stretch in your game or not. This is how your even controllers work, because you are touching your gun with controllers, and what is happening if you are stretching your hands. And because our VR system usually works with something, for example, Steam Link, or we have Oculus Quest Link, we have even a lot of stuff like in Xbox, PlayStation. We need to understand that in our VR, we have an app which should be compatible with the app from your computer. And usually every additional program having this stuff. So if you're creating something for Windows, you need to see how it works with Windows. Same goes with VR. So not so big difference between what we see in our regular tester's life. And one of the main thing of the network component, also which is considered functional testing, is that guy sitting in the chair in, for example, England should have same experience and should have the same thing that is guy sitting in, for example, New Zealand. So if I am touching him and throwing him away, he should see the same reaction that is happening to him. Because if we have such bad network connection, where people won't like this kind of experience. It's like I am dying from nothing, or what happened, I struck him, but I didn't give him a penalty for his HP. Last but not least, in functional testing, we're speaking about mechanics. Everything that you can see in your virtual world should have their own rules. And all those rules are described for us testers, and we should understand that mechanics should always work. As you can see, even throwing knife which ricochet from a wall in VR game, and you can have ability to catch it. If this mechanic should work, it should always work. That's why we are testing it. As every app, we have performance testing, because for VR helmet is one of the best things to understand. Reaction, how your hardware works, how much of CPUs, GPUs. As you can see, metrics are usually look the same as for any video app, or for example, for your something browser which you are checking, or even just game which you created for your Xbox or PlayStation. What I want to mention is that we have approach of 3 different testing performance things. So first one is test stand. Usually test stands is a created environment where people can see a little of the experience of the full game. So for example, you won't see the reaction of NPCs, you won't see anything. You are just testing how your, for example, gun is shooting, or how can you wield the sword in a different hands, or try to do that. Live action is usually a full game. It's already created build where you can see all the features. Usually it's tested during last stage. And for performance, we also have worst scenario. Worst scenario had different between load and, for example, stress testing, is that in worst scenario, you may not add the highest performance, but you are seeing the worst scenario. For example, what is happening if your people are start to jump, or they fall, or or your even controller stop working. So what is happening with performance, or something additional encounters. That is why worst scenario can consider even a stress testing, as we told, what is happening in a room if 10,000 people at once are going to connect it. But that is, as you all understand, is a standard technique. And When we are speaking about interface testing, VR experience is quite huge because we all understand that should be visible, and we should understand such different things like localization, how your interface working, how it's visible, how it's it should be usable. People should not had a hard time to use your interface. And all those elements are considered like in interface testing. And if we look that even localization should be understandable, people should know that they are doing with your interface, and they should have this experience. Your colors should considered and should be shown quite good, because if you can't read because you put white text on a whiteboard, for people it will be hard to read your, for example, story if you have in your game a story. Also, interface testing considers different stuff, like you start using it in a tutorial, and you should see your loading screen, and all those stuff is considered as interface testing. Even your interaction with objects in the scene. So, for example, if you have scene, we are still testing an interface, how it reacts with your character. Every part of your app and game have a content. And that is why we have different testing of 3D and 2D objects. Because mostly VR helmet used virtual reality usually our helmet is used for virtual reality, and in virtual reality you have some sort of object. So you need to see that those objects are not have some abominations. They are created perfectly. You can interact with them. And in Half-Life Alyx, I very like this game because it's like a standard. It's like a huge game which you can see a lot of cool examples how your 3D and 2D objects even consider colliding. That, for example, if you are moving cup, you can see that your cup is moving on your plate as you are moving it. So every objects are working even together. That is why even objects animation is considered to be cool stuff in content testing. I think everybody who is testing content really like their job. And as I mentioned before, you can see that in Half-Life Alyx, you can destroy objects with different objects. Your AI behavior, which you can also see, if you're throwing it in the area where it should not be, it's still going to find the way to find your character. So that is why I really like how cool VR games are created, like Lone Echo, or as I mentioned before, Half-Life Alyx. Even a small interaction between artificial objects in the scene are considered to be contact testing thing. So, as for example, you can see a small thing, a bullet. You insert clip and you can see a bullet in a gun. You are shooting and you see that bullet is firing from your gun shell. And all those stuff are creating huge impact on the players, and players will really like you for that. One of the main important thing which we should consider is tools. You can't start testing if you don't have a proper tools. So from our side, we have tools. As all testers, we are using some tools, and I think we should speak about them. So OVR metrics tools. It's average tool for VR testing, which usually tracks your CPU, GPU time, as you can see, and the average time in milliseconds, and it helps you to even render some frames. So if you are trying to lower scale, you are making some difference in distance, and that is why at the same time you will going to see how it works with main metrics, which we consider to see in performance also. Logcat. Additional thing, as you all remember the Charles, but we have our Logcat to receive logs from our VR helmet. Very useful tool. Use it so many times. So RenderDoc. This is more. I would like to also mention that most of these tools are not very new, because we are expanding, but not so fast. So we are using some of the tools which we already understand that for generations. So RenderDoc usually works with different shapes, helps to you work with your VR environment, and a very cool tool also to use for you. Unity Profiler, also a cool tool. You need to understand that, for example, Unreal Engine and Unity, this is the game engines, and those game engines are already considered inside them the testing tool for you. So Unity Profiler and Unreal Engine Profiler, both those tools already have everything for you to measure your VR experience. So if you're creating a game, you need to understand that using those hardly understand for most people hardly understandable engines is going to help you to test everything. You have everything you need inside the game engine. NVIDIA Perf Hub. This is thing which helps you to work with your meshes, with your details. It's considered one of the cool tools. From my side, I experienced to work with it only once, and it's a very cool tool. So why you usually use it? Because you have the every your mesh have a number of frames, and we sometimes see how it blends in a virtual world, and NVIDIA Perf Hub is going to help you to see how it's going to blend in your virtual reality. XR Interaction Toolkit, usually created in Unity. Very cool stuff to see how your performance is working in the virtual reality, where you can test different stuff starting from your controllers and ending with the interactions. Steam VR performance tests. As you can see in the name, performance testing, you will see everything that you need like in your performance. So all the metrics which we observed before is going to show you, even show how your hardware or your video card is struggling during your VR game. And last but not least, OpenXR tools. Very helpful things, which is helping you to update and see the difference in your VR testing. So you can using this tool, you can have you can turn off or turn on different stuff and have change your for example frame rate. You can change your performance, and usually it helps you to work with that kind of stuff when you are using VR. So now let's continue and speak about what skills should have VR tester. Okay, we understand that people who are using VR should understand the variety of the helmets, a variety of the controls. They should have something understandable if you're working in a game sector, you need to understand the game sector. If you're working in virtual reality related to, I don't know, to simulators, you need to understand how it should work. So for example, understanding how your engine is creating a gravity. You need to understand the particle, how it works. You need to understand inverse cinematics and so different stuff you need to understand. But from my side, which I usually say to everybody who's try to start something, you can always learn anything. The one skill which you can't acquire is to be a good colleague. So if we have a match, we will teach you everything what you need to know. So if you are going to start your career as VR tester in Vent, I would really recommend that read about this stuff. If you are going to read it, you will always find this job, rather or lately. So in Vent, I prepared for you a good interaction. So please, everybody in the chat, write, what do you think? On the screen 1 or on the screen 2, people are testing or playing? So let's write your number where you think people are testing. And Vyacheslav, what do you think?
Okay, so if it is a testing part, yeah, or just game, am I right?
Yeah. You need to understand where people are testing.
Mm-hmm. Or just playing.
Yeah. And also let our chat decide.
Yeah, guys, if you have some options, please drop your message in our chats in VR community platform or in YouTube channel. So 211. Okay, so it's tricky one. So I don't know. I can assume that maybe for testing it is on the right side, number 2.
Number 2, you sure?
I'm not 100% sure, but let me guess.
And what about our audience? What way?
So we have 2 votes for one for the first option and 1 for the second one. And here in VR community platform, I see most of options stick to the first screen.
And as we usually know, most people are correct. Why we are doing like that? So you can see that, for example, testing. This is the testing of contractors and Pavlov VR. So you can see that when we are testing the rifle, we are taking it in a different hands to see how it works in a different hands. We are reloading, regular reloading, to see how this is a new rifle is working. On the second one, a guy is just performing a cool trick, because you are not testing what if we think he was testing. Inserting a clip into a gun. So inserting clip into a gun may lead into you can do it like regular. You don't need a trick to do that. And if you need to insert, for example, clip from your friend, you can just pass it and put it into your gun. So here is just a cool trick which you can see and you can perform. Let's continue.
That's interesting.
So guys, this is one of my. I very like this game. It's called Lone Echo. It's the second part. You understand that if we have a second part, that means that the first one was cool too. So what do you think, Vyacheslav? And audience, please write what do you think about here.
Okay, let me blind and don't see on the on the
Don't say,
right now.
Don't help them. Don't help them.
Okay, so for the first one, we see some logic probably tested here, and for the second one, it's not very clear why is the person just move something in
He's
some
breaching.
place.
He's
breaching.
breaching.
Not clear for me, to be honest. Let it be. I don't know. Let it be. The first one is testing.
And what our community thinks?
Let's see the answers. The second one. The second one looks like most of people chose the second option. Again, vice versa with me.
As I told before, I forgot to mention that this is a tricky part. you see here we have both screens are about playing, not about testing. First one
Okay.
is first one is just a regular mechanic of your breaching in the game. It was showed in the tutorial. Also, this image was created by myself. So, second thing, why it's playing. Usually, when you are testing mechanics of throwing, you don't add NPC, or if you are not trying to see how it reacts with your, for example, mesh which you are throwing. So second is a playing too. If you see NPC, it's 90% that people are just playing and not testing something. And let's continue to the boss level. Here is a hard time. I'll help you and say that the testing maybe not one picture. So let's see what our people are writing.
For me personally, I have no ideas looking into this at all. So I will just skip it. Okay. I don't know. And it will be quite difficult to print.
Yeah, that's why it's boss level. That it won't
Yeah,
be
yeah,
easy for
yeah,
you
yeah.
guys.
Okay, dear audience, what do you think? What is the testing part looking into this for video? One of answers is 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus question.
But you can guess. You can guess also.
Um, the second one and the third one, I see one of answers. The second and the first. One of comments that one person is not playing anymore.
He selected the exit. I won't look in. So okay, let's. I think everybody tried to answer, but let's speak
Second
about
and third, yeah, most of
second
people.
and third.
Yeah.
Second is a correct. Why? You can see that you can see a hand created by the leap motion, and the second you can see the controller. So at the same time, usually if you are playing, you're not trying to impress somebody with, oh, look, I have one hand in leap motion, one hand with my controller. So that is the correct thing that I think most of our audience saw and understood that this guy should be testing. Second one is testing 2. Why? You see that your bottle is a created mesh in a virtual reality and you have water in it. And here people are looking, it's a direct cut from Half-Life Alyx stream. So developers showed us how their test were just, I didn't put the whole frame where we are breaking it in the end. As usually all testers like to break some stuff, but we don't think about this myth. But here you can see how mesh and water reacts in this mesh while I'm using it. Also, look how the light is showing through that and the objects are blended into the light. Third one is just a regular mechanic. I am putting stuff into my pocket. This is a game. It's just a regular game mechanic. People just playing and using it like I'm putting my stuff inside. Fourth one, for those who saw the NPC in the background already know that, oh, this guy is just playing. So nobody, I think, wrote the fourth one. So in that, I would like to thank you everybody for listening to my speech, and maybe you found something new for yourself and exciting. Maybe you will going to go and buy helmet for yourself and start playing. I hope it was interesting for you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ivan, for such a great presentation. It was absolutely fantastic. And I figure out with my own answer that I will need some extra preparation to pass an interview in this field. At the same time, I believe that after this talk, we will have much more people who would like to join this field, at least to try to test in this domain. So now we are moving to the Q&A part. And it's time to post your questions. So we have couple of questions already posted. Um, if you enjoy our talk, please scan the QR code that you can see on the screen to rate our event and give a badge to our dear speaker, the guide you see on the screen. And we will also send the direct links to talk page. And now let's move to the Q&A part. And the first question will be, wait 1 second. Yeah, from YouTube, from Xenia. Thank you for the speech and such cool presentation. I'm looking to join the virtual testing project. Could you suggest the ways how to obtain such skills without a formal assignment or position for now?
You see, buy yourself a helmet and start working with it. Uh, it's a you could say that that's a bad thing, but you will find so much different stuff for yourself after you will try VR helmet. Even if you try it for a few hours, you will understand, can you handle it or not. Also, I would like you to read a lot there is a lot of in the internet tips and tricks how to avoid, for example, fatigue, how to work with lights, how to work with different stuff. Also, you can look a lot of video created by guys from Epic Games. They created a lot of videos about inverse kinematics, about their engine, and VR also has their part there. So expanding your knowledge is a good thing, but in theory, but in real life, you still need to experience that. As far as I remember, even in our team, not everybody feel good after working with a VR, and you need to understand that you can't work 8 hours straight in this stuff. So yeah, but basically you are still going to fit because we are writing test cases, we are preparing for testing, we are overlooking documentation. Everything we are doing is the same as you are QA doing. So I believe in you.
Thank you. Thank you for interesting insights. Let's move to the next question. What platform is the most difficult to test VR on and why?
Oh, platform. So I would really say that the hardest thing to test is when you are testing something with consoles related. So it's not about the platform, it's more about how it's related, because as those guys who work with the consoles know that, for example, PlayStation have their huge PlayStation toolkit. It's not your small box, it's additional big box where you're inputting your small box, and to obtain all those metrics and different stuff. So additionally, all those consoles don't like when you are trying to take some actions with stuff they have under the hood. So I think the most difficult is that working with consoles when you're trying to connect your helmet. It's rather will be way more difficult than just to say that we have only a like platform for created by Meta and it's hard to work with. No, usually the hardest thing is to obtain information through if you're working with console like PlayStation.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for sharing this experience and how to become just playing games. How to become just playing games, but start testing.
How to stop playing and start testing games.
Yes, something like this, as I understood.
So you see, playing is the difference between playing and testing is that when you are playing, you are enjoying the, for example, one of my best games which I enjoyed is Baldur's Gate 3, created by Larian. So there I played because I went through the whole scenario. I scrubbed everything in every corner because I read every book. That is playing. Testing is when you are start building into the small stuff. You need to understand that what you're looking for, what you need to test. You are beginning. You not see the full game. You see the part of it. So, for example, holding a cup. In real life, you holding, you smashing it. No, when you are start testing, you need to prepare for that. You are understand the documentations. You understand how it should work. You all those stuff what considered to be a true QA, you start working with quality. So not only just to feel how to break the cup or how to peel water in it, you start to think in a different way. You start to think, okay, how it would work in the left hand? What interaction would be if I'll give the cup? And usually when you are playing, you're not doing those stuff.
So we can recommend maybe to be more critical thinking to everything you see, you touch, and so on.
Write test cases.
Yeah.
If you write test cases, then that means you are testing.
Okay, cool. Let's move to the next one. Alena is asking, what's the current state of the market in this domain for finding a position in VR testing?
Oh, you see, as I told before, VR is not a very big part for our IT. So that is why there is not a huge amount of companies which has created, for example, VR experience. But we still have, for example, EA created Assassin's Creed game not so far ago. So they gathered a lot of VR testers for that. And this domain still exists and it's still working, because if you can see, I showed you so many devices what we have in our world and somebody need to test them. Also, there is a lot of small companies which are creating games. I even saw chess created like a fantasy when you have some like pawns, dragons, and you can see the knights wielding a sword. It's like everybody remember the Harry Potter, the first movie. So those kind of chess are already created in VR, and somebody tested it. So you just need to be patient and look for this kind of vacancies. And if you have experience, I think the company is going to find you.
Cool, thank you. Mobile farms are widely used in mobile testing, for example, browser stack or similar ones. Are there any similar cloud-based solutions for VR testing?
I would say yes, because, for example, as I showed you, we have wireless helmets, and some of them are using their own storage. Some of them are related to the cloud-based storage. So you are not downloading the full game. The full game is considered to be in a cloud. And for those games, usually you need to measure a good connection in your internet. That's why I think the last helmets require you to have sixth generation of Wi-Fi 6th generation or higher. So the minimum you should have the 6th generation of your Wi-Fi. So yes, the cloud solutions are even exist.
Okay, so but I suppose the question was a little bit about different ways. So it's like virtual tools that can be used for testing virtual reality that we don't have physically.
You mean do we
Remote.
have? I understand. Do we have in your virtual reality the tools which helping you to test?
Yeah, so you can connect, for example, for them, download there, and for example, on the screen you can see what person can see on the screen.
Yeah, I showed you some of them. So, for example, this one, OVR metrics, which is showing you even you can see even if you connect to the Steam VR, you can see Steam apps, which is helping you to test at the same time. So you are standing in a virtual world and you can see the frame rates, which is holding. Same goes for the Unreal Engine and Unity, because it's based inside the engine. You can already use it while building a VR connected to your engine while you're testing your game.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Let's move to the next one. Did you mention that actually create or write test cases? It's not a huge amount of scenarios, or how do you handle that? That's a very interesting question. interesting
Yeah,
perspectives.
yeah, yeah. As we know, the main rule of testing that you can't test everything. So there is a critical cases, there is regression, same as here, and yeah, the coverage can be quite huge. But usually, most of the auto tests created, for example, in Unreal Engine, we created a stages which in every release were tested automatically. So even the mechanics of your working hand was like having a regression, how it works, how it feels, how it interacts. Yeah, uh, to understand, I may say a little bit secret, but of huge engine, one smoke was done whole day by 10 testers, the whole smoke test.
That's
So
interesting.
so you are still going to write tests. Yes, you won't be alone because nobody putting like testing VR. Okay, you are the only one tester and you're going to test everything in our game. No, it's not like that. You're still going to have a team. You're still going to write. Somebody is going to relate to a different area. So, for example, you will be related to the smashing stuff or inverse kinematics, or you are going to swim in a river and you will going to have experience of running. The guys who are testing fitness apps, I don't know, you are maybe a fitness trainers because testing a fitness apps, you will become very muscle.
Thank
That's
you.
that is how it is.
Thank you. And we have time probably for the last question. I would, if I would like to try virtual reality, what is the best helmet in price quality ratio?
I would really say to you that choose a Pico 4 mixed reality helmet because at the same time you are going to experience virtual reality and augmented reality, and in you can switch between them easily because they are creating this kind of feature. And this helmet is very new, but as we all understand, because it's new, it's not so cheap. If you are looking for cheap ones, look for the second generations. Like for example, Oculus second is now way more cheaper because it's we already have the Oculus third. But what I would really recommend. You see, the VR experience is based on your lines, which inserted in your helmet, and because of them, the higher quality of those lenses creates you a better experience. So if you use first helmet generations like HTC Vive or something like that, or you really won't like because it's become old. It was like as a first impression maybe, but if you'll spend some hours, I would really recommend you to look into the latest generation because it will boost your experience so significantly. It's like working on the, I don't know, Pentium 3, and after that went into the latest notebook or computer, and um, the difference will be so huge. And if you even try something like Xtal 3, it's a professional equipment for virtual simulators. You will it will just blow your mind. So in regular life, yeah, I would really to recommend you to use something like either Oculus 3, either the Pico 4 mixed reality. But it will still give you the better and even best experience which you can have.
Thank you. Thank you. And I have figured out that the future has become in virtual reality domain. Ivan, thank you so much for joining us today. It's always pleasure to see you here at ProQuality. And dear listeners, thank you for joining us for this event. Um, we will upload presentation deck later on, and also the video recording with this session will be uploaded in our YouTube channel in a month after the conference. And let me invite you to our next talk later today in the evening. We will explore open source agents for in-sprint test automation. Don't miss it. And that's all for today. Stay tuned, subscribe to our ProQuality YouTube channel, and follow us in our social networks. And see you in few hours. Thank you, Ivan, and have a
Bye.
good rest day. Bye.
See you in next conference.
See you soon.